Hello, this is Patricia from patriciafenty.com, and today I'm going to show you how you can crochet this really simple headband ear warmer. And this is really great to use with leftover yarn. Both of these headbands were made from projects that I've done. This is from a cowl project. I'll put a link to that below. And for that one I used this Peyton's Canadiana in the burgundy 10430. I'll put a link to that below. This here was a scarf and hat tutorial that I did, and I used the Red Heart Unforgettable in Polo. I love this yarn. So yeah, so this was made with the leftovers from that. And also I have this really cute little flower. If you want to put a little flower on your headband, I have a tutorial for that as well, and I'll put a link for that below. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so to make this headband, you're going to need about 40 to 45 yards of yarn, and I'm using a number 4 worsted weight yarn. And as I mentioned, this is the leftover yarn from my Bohemian hat and scarf tutorials. So I'll put a link to that below. And then I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, and you'll need a darning needle and some scissors. So this is a super easy pattern to do. So you'll start with a slip knot and put that on your hook and set up your tension. You're going to chain 12. So I'll just speed this up here. So just do 12 chains. Now, this is the width of band that I like. Of course, you can make this any width you want. So you could carry on and make that a wider band. So whatever width you want, once you get to your desired width, you chain 1. And then you're going to do a single crochet into that first stitch after your last chain, into the top post. And then another single crochet into the top post of the next chain stitch. And you're just going to single crochet into the top post all the way along. What I like about this pattern of headband is that it's very flexible, it's very stretchy, and so it works really nice to wear on the head. So here we are down to the last chain, so you want to make sure to catch that last chain and do a single crochet and then chain 1 and turn your work. And from here on in, this is how your pattern repeat will go. You'll be doing the same thing for each row. So do a single crochet into the back post of your first stitch, not into the chain 1, but into that first stitch here, and just into the back post, and do a single crochet. And you'll do that all the way along, doing a single crochet into the back post from into the back of the single crochet from the previous row. And you'll do this all the way along, and depending on how many stitches you have for the width of your band, in this case, I will have 12 single crochets all the way along, just going back and forth, back and forth. But you want to do, in this case, I'm just doing 11 single crochets into the back post only, just into one stitch only. And then as we get to the end of the row here, I have one more single crochet into the back post, and then I'm going to count these and just make sure I have 11, yeah, so there's 11. And then in the very last stitch, it's a little bit hard to find, but it's this V stitch that you're looking for, and you want to single crochet into 2 posts of the last stitch. In every row, you're going to do your last single crochet into both posts of the last stitch, just like that. And that's the repeat. So chain 1, turn your work, and start back again. And again, going into the back post of that first stitch, and you'll do that all the way along for 11 stitches, or however many stitches you're doing minus 1. So in this case, it's 11 stitches, and then into the 12th stitch of this one, I'll go into both posts. So just like that. So go ahead and remember to check in and count your stitches every now and then to make sure you're staying on count, and then make this band as long as is comfortable to fit around your head. I'll come back in a bit and show you how I'm making out. Welcome back. You can see how nicely this is crocheting up. And I just wanted to show you something here. I'm just going to come in a little bit with the camera here to show you this close. So just wanting to make sure that you're catching the end of your row properly. So I'm on single crochet number 10. So when you come to the end here, it can look a little muddled. So I just want to make sure you're catching this properly. So here's a single crochet number 11 into that back post. And then number 12 is going into this last stitch. And you can see there's that little bit left to go, but the last stitch can be a little bit hard to see. And you can tell because it's this last V. You can just see that V. And that's the last stitch of the row. And of course, you're going in under both of those posts. So that one can be a little bit tricky to find, but make sure you find that. And if you're uncertain, you can always count your stitches. So in this case, it's number 12. So single crochet, chain 1, turn your work, and carry on. So carry on. You can see how stretchy this is. It's really quite nice. So once you have this at the length that fits comfortably around your head, and you want it to fit quite snugly. You don't want it to be too loose because the fabric will relax. So go ahead, crochet it as long as you need, and then I'll come back and show you how you can join the two edges together. So see you then. Welcome back. So here we go. So my finished band is 16.5 inches, and that's a good size to fit my head. So once you have it to the length that is suitable for you, and remember you want to allow for how much it stretches, so and also the fact that it will relax a bit. So once you're done, then you just want to bring two sides together, and it doesn't matter which sides because they're the same on both sides. And I just have a little bit of yarn left because I did this demo already, but I was actually off camera when I was crocheting it, so I had to unravel it and do it on screen. So just bring your two sides together, and then you're going to start by finding your very first stitch. Oh, you know what? I'm going to just bring the camera in a bit closer here so you can see this better. So here we go. So you want to find your very first stitch from your beginning row, and it might be a bit tricky to fit, and you want to go under two legs of each stitch, and you're just going to do a slip stitch, and then you pick up the two legs of the front row and go under two legs of the back row. And you're just going to slip stitch all the way along, picking up legs or posts. This first row is a little bit tighter, and so it can be a little bit tricky. And also this yarn is a little bit changes, so this beginning row, the yarn is a bit finer than the finishing row. But you'll have 12 stitches on each side, so you can count those. And so it can just be a little tricky. So just count your stitches and keep looking for the corresponding stitch on the other side. And I'll just speed this up a little bit here. Now, of course, you could sew these together, this side together as well. You could just stitch it with like a whip stitch, but I like to crochet it. I think it's a little bit more secure finish. And so here we are. And making sure to pick up this very last stitch of this row. And the last stitch of that row. And then chain one to fasten off. And there you go. So now you just want to darn your ends in. And so I'll do that and I'll come back and show you how it looks. All right, here we are. So here's the band all done, and here's the back seam, and you can't even really see it. So there you go. Didn't that turn out so nice? So if you want to put a flower like this on here, I use some of this yarn to make this flower for this headband. You can actually see I've been wearing this one, so you can see how the fabric has relaxed, and this one will relax as well. So then I did make another little burgundy colored flower for this band, and I actually used a really fine yarn. It's a number 1 wool like loops and thread. This is exclusive to Michaels, so it's a number 1 fine yarn, and I used a 3.5 millimeter hook, and you can see how that flower turned out. And of course I have the tutorial for that flower below, but leave your tails long so you can use them to tack the flower onto the headband. I didn't do that, but I thought after the fact that would be a good idea. So I hope you like this tutorial. It's super easy project to make, so please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more creative tutorials. Thank you for joining me.